On May 1st, 1999, a silly cartoon about a talking sponge aired for the very first time. Little did the creators know at the time, this animated series would end up earning over $13 billion and would become what many people consider the most recognizable cartoon franchise of all time. So why does everyone say it sucks now? The truth is, most of SpongeBob SquarePants is usually harmless fun and actually well thought out. The problem is that some things about it are so offensively bad that it completely destroys the credibility that it's built up for like the last 2 decades. So why am I telling you this? Well, enter The Patrick Star Show. This is a spin-off TV show all about Patrick Star, which I'm surprised took this long, honestly. But the point is, apparently this thing is so bad that even the full-time SpongeBob enjoyers will say this thing sucks. Just burn it. We don't want it. Get rid of it. I've never watched this spin-off before, so today I'll be taking a look at the 2 very worst Patrick Star Show episodes in full to see if they're really that bad. I have a feeling they are. I've literally never seen anyone compliment this. I'll be explaining in depth what goes on in these episodes, and I'll also be giving you some opinions on what I think about the show. So grab your copy of Super Mario Sunshine for the Nintendo GameCube, and let's jump into what most people call a horrible spin-off, The Patrick Star Show. Also, I don't have any sponsors, so hitting the subscribe button would help a ton. I appreciate you all. On to the video. This episode is called Late for Breakfast. Not only is this the actual lowest rated episode ever, but it's also the very first episode of the series. So if you don't know anything about this show, like at all, this is your first exposure to it, that's extremely unfortunate. I won't lie. We start our adventure with Patrick waking up out of bed with an extremely convoluted morning alarm. Was that meant to happen? Or was that RNG? We see Patrick's morning routine here. He dances with his pet sea urchin. He brushes his eyes with toothpaste for some reason. Not sure what's going on there. We also get one of those really ugly close-ups within the first minute of this episode, which, although very unique, is probably a horrible sign of what's to come. Quick reminder that I'm completely aware that this is a kid's show that's made for kids, and I'm over here just analyzing the fuck out of it. This is gonna blow your mind, but even the great SpongeBob cinematic universe isn't absolved of criticism. Who would have guessed? Also, it's just fun. Anyway, Patrick leaves his bedroom, but there's this weird bit where a knight wielding an iron axe runs towards him. Before the knight can get to him, though, Patrick closes the door. Try to remember this moment. It's important for later, kind of. Anyway, literally 3 seconds later, and Patrick's sister named Squidina comes out of the same door he just closed. I was honestly never aware that Patrick had a sister. Has she ever been mentioned in the original series before? Because I don't know. Also, she's a squid, I guess, for some reason. Is this like a Darwin situation? Why is she not a starfish? I don't get it. Anyway, Squidina drags Patrick away because it's time for the Patrick Star Show to begin. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because it's kind of hard to understand after one watch, but the Patrick Star Show is a real TV show in this TV show, but not really, because it's actually just Patrick standing in front of his bedroom window, singing and like doing random stuff. So basically, the only people that can actually watch this show are the people who are in his front yard, I think. I'm not sure if that's exactly right. If it is, it's kind of weird and doesn't really make any sense, even for a SpongeBob show. Like, imagine the Truman Show, but instead of airing on TV, you actually had to be in Jim Carrey's bathroom cabinet. You know, it just wouldn't work. That's all I'm saying. This episode just really wants you to know that Patrick is kind of an idiot. He's not aware of anything at all, but like, I don't know, more than usual in this for some reason. Anyway, Patrick says that he's hungry, so it's time to eat some breakfast with the family. This is where we meet Patrick's grandfather. He's very old, alongside his mom and dad, who are different.
Morning, Mom.
Mom.
Good morning, Dad.
Why do they look so different? Yeah, look, this is them. This is them right here. Why do they not look like that? What? So I guess they completely overhauled how Patrick's parents look in the spinoff. I read online that apparently this is because the original iteration was too boring or something. I honestly don't really care how they look, but it is still a weird decision. So like every other SpongeBob fan, I'm of the belief that whoever okayed this change should go to jail immediately without a chance of parole.
Sir, get down! Sir, get down! Hey!
So this breakfast scene goes on for way too long, and then eventually Patrick is finally about to eat, but there's one major problem that he forgot to think about. The Star family are stereotypical US citizens. How sad. I'm about to cry. This means that everyone already ate all of the food on the table before Patrick could even get a bite in. I guess someone also ate all the food on his plate, which should be kind of illegal, I'm not gonna lie. The rest of the family litters their dirty dishes, because the environment, I guess. They all leave, so Patrick checks the fridge for more food, but when he opens it, it's just the guy from Hollow Knight again, for some reason. Is Patrick getting haunted or something? Does the knight even know who Patrick is? Answers we may never know. Anyway, so Patrick is looking for food around the house, because if it wasn't in the fridge, it'll surely be under a carpet or something, right?
Ew! Mom's got a vacuum under there more often.
Funny that he mentioned a vacuum, because much like a vacuum, This show sucks. There's this bit where Patrick is talking to his granddad, and this guy is so old that he does that thing where he's like, back in my day, things were tougher, and we had to walk to school across a literal war zone. There was also dinosaurs back then, I guess. The dinosaurs in this flashback are just Plankton and Squidward with big dino bodies. It's honestly kind of cursed. I wouldn't want my child watching this. But listen, everything's okay because Patrick has come up with a foolproof plan. If he can't find food around the house, then he'll just turn his famous TV show into a cooking show where he makes the food from scratch. I don't think he knows how food works. Anyway, my last joke was kind of pointless because Patrick doesn't even cook actual food. He just decides to cook some smelly socks, dirty sneakers, used napkins. God damn. I don't know why every bit of SpongeBob content after 2017 has an obsession with being like extremely gross for some reason. I guess that's what Steven Hillenburg would have wanted, right guys? In any case, one Simpsons hit and run reference later, and the food's done, but it came out looking like actual dirt, so it's inedible. Who would have thought?
Remember that at all.
I don't know.
Is that a Dan Schneider reference? Yo, future Darzii here. That comment was pretty inappropriate. Sorry about that, but Dan Schneider. Don't like that guy. So it's a little later now, which means it's time to eat again. For lunch, Patrick's mom ended up making the dubious food from Breath of the Wild. How appetizing. And then Patrick eats it and then goes to bed, and that's it. That's the episode. That's all that happens. The screen fades to black and the knight shows up again to jump scare the viewers one last time. But like, what was this guy's purpose? Does he come back in like a later episode, maybe? I'm actually convinced that the creators of the show put this in because Steven Hillenburg specifically mentioned how much he didn't want knights in the show or something, I bet. Just to spite him, just because they just hate his vision on everything for some reason. And that was the worst Patrick Star episode ever, apparently. But wait, because the episode actually isn't over. You see, episodes of the Patrick Star Show consist of two 15-minute mini episodes, so we still have a whole new adventure to watch before we can properly judge this thing. That being said, so far, it's pretty bad. Like, obviously it's meant to be absurdly goofy and kind of stupid even, but like, what was even the point of the story here? Patrick was hungry, so when his mom made more food, he ate it, I guess, is like the story. I don't know. I bet kids love the part where he put little garbage in his mouth. That was funny, I guess. Anyway, more on my thoughts later, because now it's time to continue the worst Patrick Star episode of all time. This second adventure is called Bummer Jobs, and in my opinion, it's worse. We start with probably the best SpongeBob character of all time, Squidward. I'm actually really excited to see him because I didn't know he was in this, and he's usually way more relatable than like anyone else in the show. So Squidward's doing some shenanigans with a fishing rod and some newspaper. I'm not exactly sure what he's doing here, and I don't care enough to go back and find out, so whatever.
You're paying for your newspaper subscription today.
I don't get it. He like stole the money? I don't understand. Also, do fishing rods have a use in Bikini Bottom? I doubt the sea creatures in Bikini Bottom are violently pulling out fish from the water. So like, why do they exist? What are they used for? Inside the house now, and both of Patrick's parents are ready to leave for work. This is when Patrick freaks out of nowhere because he doesn't know what a job is, I guess. Like, didn't Patrick work at the Krusty Krab at one point and like answered the phone? Remember that bit? Is the Patrick Star Show a good cartoon? No! If you're a little confused like I am, let me explain something to you that the show doesn't. Turns out, this entire spin-off series is a prequel to the original SpongeBob show. That actually explains a lot. Maybe I missed the part where that was very apparent, but even then, it took me a full episode to get suspicious enough to even Google it. It would have been cool if that was explained in the intro song or something, because I straight up just thought Patrick packed his bags one day and just like left his rock house for some reason. I figured his grandfather needed a caretaker or something. I don't know, just I thought he left. It's not really that important, but the fact that it's really not that obvious is also kind of funny to me. Like, make them look a little younger or something. I don't know. Anyway, Patrick learns what a job is and is all excited to get one now, which is how you know this is a fictitious story. The problem here is that Patrick already kind of has a job. He hosts the Patrick Star Show. That's what he does. That's the name of the show, which, by the way, I should mention, this time around actually has one live viewer, which is very exciting. It's this weird, creepy guy who looks like he's enjoying the show a little too much. I don't want to be weird about it, but it's heavily insinuated that this guy likes kids. I don't know why. Isn't this a kid show? That's so weird. Also, this might be an extreme deep cut, but this guy sounds really similar to the character Flathead from The Ripping Friends. I made a video on that. If you care, please watch it. Not sure if it's the same voice actor. I couldn't really find much about this guy. The Ripping Friends has connections to Ren and Stimpy, which people have told me has connections to SpongeBob. This isn't really that important, but if it's all connected somehow, it'd be kind of cool, I guess. Wait, pause. Turns out, this guy's voiced by Tom Kenny, because Tom Kenny just voices everyone. So yeah, mystery solved. Anyway, back to the story. Patrick is putting on a tie, but he fails and then breaks the weirdo's back. Good for him. Patrick somehow runs into SpongeBob, who actually does look a little younger, so I'll give it that. I didn't think SpongeBob was in this TV show, honestly. Like, why Why is he even? Between SpongeBob, Squidward, and Plankton all showing up, this feels like it could have easily been a regular SpongeBob episode or something, but I don't know, whatever, it doesn't matter. SpongeBob and Patrick end up job hunting together for a bit, but then another gross close-up, this time of a tattoo gone horribly wrong. Why did they even put this in? So the boys first get this gig at a grocery store where they pack everyone's bags. It's actually all right for a little bit, but it quickly becomes a competition between the two, so they try to speedrun everything, but they end up ruining the food for everyone. This naturally causes a lot of chaos, so they get fired 20 minutes into their first shift. Later, they get a second gig as painters, kind of. I don't think they're actually getting paid for this one, but they randomly decide to paint and actually renovate this old lady's entire house for some reason. It looks cool, I guess. They did a good job. Also, another gross close-up for some reason. That's 3 of these now, I think. So, just, you know. Good writing all around. After they finish painting the house, they decide to become taxi drivers, which is extremely ironic because little does SpongeBob know he's gonna fail his driving test over 1 million times. I'm not kidding. Like, just give up at this point. Obviously, the boys don't have a car, so they just decide to give people piggyback rides to where they need to go, which sounds harmless, but it directly involves them with a high-speed police chase. There's this weird bit where they're having lunch, so we cut to a TV show inside of this TV show. It's some sort of mafia drama. There's these 2 mobsters, and they scare the my leg guy by threatening to hurt his leg. This is probably the funniest part of the last 2 episodes, not gonna lie.
Where was your leg on Tuesday night? My leg?
We cut back to Patrick's house now, and we see Squidward trying to talk to Patrick's dad. This is gonna sound a little weird, but I think what Squidward is trying to do is scam the Star family somehow, like trick them into giving him money for newspaper or something. I think he's having trouble doing that, so Squidward hires SpongeBob and Patrick to get the dad's money once and for all. These 2 are obviously hyped as hell about this, since it's a job they can do. They have a bit of trouble even talking to the dad, even though Patrick literally lives here, and like that's his father. Why can't he get in the house? Our boys dress up like mobsters since they saw it on TV earlier, but that doesn't really work either. Eventually, they just bring an actual crane to the house and lift it up so they can shake the dad out. They end up getting a quarter from him or something and then cut it in half since SpongeBob and Patrick want to split everything 50-50. Extremely common Squidward L, unfortunately. And then at the very end of the episode, Patrick is doing his show again and talks about how jobs in general are really stupid and boring and everyone should just stop working because it isn't fun. I 100% agree with this, which is why I uploaded the video you're watching right now. And finally, there's one final close-up of another gross scar on Patrick's belly.
The hand is so itchy!
Oh, okay. I thought there was gonna be like another pop-up like there was last time. And that's the spin-off that ruined SpongeBob, apparently. Listen, I can see why people hate it. It's extremely dumb and never really goes anywhere. Like most cartoon spin-offs nowadays, there doesn't really seem to be a point to it other than like, let's print some money. That being said, I can't see why young kids who just love flashy colors would watch this, honestly, so I can't really blame anyone. But like I said earlier, this definitely could have just been a SpongeBob episode on its own. Like they've had full Patrick episodes before, I'm sure, and they could have easily done some flashback thing or something. If you look online, you'll see lots of people talk about how this TV show ruined SpongeBob's reputation to an extent. The newer episodes of that show already had a bad rep, but this just feels like the people in charge don't care anymore, and that's kind of the saddest part. It feels like old SpongeBob will never return because the people in charge just, you know, don't want it to, I guess. But who really cares? It's just a dumb show made for kids, and at the end of the day, that's cool. But yeah, that's the end of the video. Please leave a like and comment if you can. It would help out the channel a bunch. I would appreciate it. Become a member if you want to support me even further. You get your name at the end of all my videos like this, and you'll get access to super secret content that I'll start making sometime this year. Also, watch my other videos if you like this one. I have a couple other SpongeBob videos you might like, so I don't know, check them out. Maybe you will. I don't know. Paula Abdul scores this one a solid 1 bad spinoff out of 5. And yeah, thanks for watching. Funny that he mentioned a vacuum, because much like a vacuum,
My leg? My leg?